Have you heard this? Chronic social isolation carries the exact same health risk as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. 15! Welcome back to the Life Podcast. I'm Dr. C. And if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you never miss a strategy for sustainable high performance. For over 25 years, I've navigated complex organizations, and through my research into the factors of workplace burnout, particularly in the high-stakes nonprofit sector, I see this exact issue every single day. We'll look at a team bleeding top talent or an executive battling severe burnout, and everyone wants to blame the heavy workload. But honestly, they are dropping from leadership isolation. The World Health Organization explicitly classifies workplace burnout as an occupational phenomenon resulting from chronic workplace stress. They define it by 3 distinct dimensions: energy depletion, mental distance or cynicism, and reduced professional efficacy. Today, we are talking about how isolation is the hidden catalyst accelerating all 3 of those factors. If you are trying to figure out how to fix a toxic corporate culture, you have to realize that having a real, reciprocal social network isn't a weekend luxury. It is literal, biological survival. So, what is the difference between isolation and loneliness? It's tricky because people constantly confuse being isolated with being lonely. You know as well as I do what it's like to sit in a packed boardroom. You can have back-to-back Zoom calls, a double-booked calendar, and still feel completely invisible. Isolation is just the math. Physically not having a network. Loneliness is sitting at a crowded table where every single interaction is purely transactional. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever felt completely isolated while surrounded by your own team? Drop a yes down below because you are definitely not the only one. You may be asking, how does workplace loneliness impact your health? We try to fix that empty feeling by collecting followers or substituting real connection with Slack emojis, but our brains know the difference. When you are genuinely lonely, your body treats it like a physical threat. Your cortisol spikes, your immune system tanks, and your heart disease risk jumps 29%. Your body is basically bracing for a predator that isn't even there. So how do we actually fix this without just giving exhausted people another to-do list? That's exactly what I built the Life Blueprint to do. It's a flexible, scalable framework that bridges the critical gaps for organizational alignment. We use it to directly target the root causes of organizational burnout, breaking the cycle of isolation so leaders can actually breathe again. Here is how we apply it to isolation. First, let's learn. When you're burned out, your first instinct is to hide. But to fix the social anxiety, we have to relearn how to communicate. Transactional communication, where you're constantly guarding your words, takes massive energy. Switching to simple I statements, like "I feel disconnected when we do this," cuts through the corporate posturing, rebuilds trust, and directly combats that WHO burnout factor of cynicism. Second, we must stay inspired. I tell leaders to drop the armor and just be real. I know that's a massive risk in a toxic culture. If you share too much, you lose authority. But if you share nothing, you maintain this illusion of perfection that isolates you even more. The trick is modeled vulnerability. You share just enough to give your team permission to be human. When you inspire psychological safety, you restore a sense of professional efficacy and accomplishment in your team. Third, how do we flourish? This is the hardest one for the fixers. You know the type. The ones who pour absolutely everything into their teams or nonprofits but get nothing back. You cannot flourish if your circle is just extracting energy from you. Period. Setting boundaries directly combats severe emotional exhaustion. It usually means grieving the relationships you thought were supportive, but we're really just feeding off your drive. And finally, we evolve. When you are isolated, joining a new group feels like climbing a mountain. The inertia is heavy, but you have to force that evolution. Getting outside your usual echo chamber, whether it's an industry affinity group or volunteering, literally changes your brain chemistry. Giving back releases oxytocin and dopamine. You heal your own isolation by helping someone else, creating harmony across the dimensions of your wellness. I know it sounds like a heavy lift up front, but this is the foundation. If we don't get the structural alignment of our social network right, none of the other burnout fixes will ever hold. If your organization is experiencing high turnover and burnout, and you need a scalable framework to fix it, visit my website at drwandacooper.com. Let's talk about bringing the life blueprint into your organization. And make sure you share this video with a leader who needs to hear it today. Be good to yourself this week. Until next time, keep on learning, stay inspired, continue to flourish, and never stop evolving.